Hey guys, welcome back. This time, instead of a jiu-jitsu breakdown, we're going to do an actual jiu-jitsu match breakdown of one of my top students, Troy. He's one of my top white belts. He's been training with me a little over a year, and we're going to look at one of his matches in the gi and talk about some good things he did and some things he could have probably done a little bit better. I did a private lesson with Troy, and he wanted me to look at this video and kind of give him some feedback, and so I hope you guys can use this to benefit your knowledge on jiu-jitsu and even some MMA if you guys are considering that. Hope you guys enjoy. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so we're gonna check out Troy's match here. He does a good job establishing grip fights, and he's gonna pull guard. A lot of times when students can't get a takedown, they pull guard to kind of force the match to the ground. So he goes for his berimbolo, and let's go back real quick. When he pulls guard, he does a great job establishing control. He hooks to the outside, his legs in between. See that far side hook right there? The problem here, where he can improve on and work on, is making sure that he doesn't stop moving. So in this case, he stops moving, his opponent's able to react. He's able to step over the leg, face his opponent, and start establishing grips and start focusing on a knee cut. If Troy can continue to circle, you know, he's turning into a De La Riva, and he's turning clockwise. If he can continue to turn clockwise, maybe put his right foot on the floor, maybe put his right foot on his opponent's hips, then he can take his opponent down, reach to get the back, possibly in the match earlier. Instead, his opponent's able to redirect, get an underhook, and start focusing on the knee cut position. Troy does a good job of framing, repummels his left arm right there. His right leg is trapped. He lets it go, recomposes, hips escapes. Perfect. And now he has closed guard, 2-on-1, arm drag, breaking his opponent's posture. This is a great thing to do because you have more control of your opponent, more setups, and it prevents your opponent from throwing strikes if it is a MMA or self-defense situation. Here, there's no strikes, it's just a competition, so he's able to use that to control his opponent, underhooks the leg, goes for this pendulum sweep. So let's go right back real quick. Right there, nice underhook on the leg. He could have controlled the outside arm so his opponent's not able to post. Instead, he settles with the sweep to back take, goes all the way to the back, hips out, focuses on his over-under grip, seatbelt grip, follows him, which is good, has the right hook, but he can control his opponent even more if he just connects his feet. Just because he doesn't have that hook right here, he can actually connect his feet. So I'll show you. I'll pause it real quick so you can see what I mean. Right there. Because of that, he keeps rolling, and it happens again. So let me rewind that real quick. Right here in this position, all he has to do is put his left leg over his opponent's hip, cross his feet, and now his opponent can't roll over anymore. And so he can establish the hook, get the choke, focus on a rear naked choke, a gi choke, a collar choke. Doing a good job moving. Maybe focus more on the choke instead of the hooks. I know oftentimes the student wants to get the points with the hooks, but here he could have definitely maybe attacked a little more aggressively. Goes for a Kimura trap, lets go, goes back to the choke. And he's doing a good job connecting his chest to his opponent's back. And he turns him again, has that right hook. Right there, he needs to turn him again. He has both hooks, so he gets the points right there. Okay, another good opportunity to pause right here. Okay, perfect. Right there. So you see where his left leg is? Troy's left leg. All he has to do, if he can't get that left hook, is just turn it over his opponent's hips and cross his legs, and then he can control his opponent's back without that left hook. He may not get the points, but even though he already had the points, he doesn't need any more points. He needs to start focusing on the finish. Position before submission. Once he controls his opponent here, he can then finish the fight and be done. But because of that, he has to keep chasing him. His opponent's able to turtle, and then the fight goes on longer than it should be. So still good job to Troy. Here he sees himself, he feels himself coming over, so he starts to transition to a beautiful arm bar. Instead of throwing that right leg over the face like he did there, I would have preferred he hook behind the head. We go over this in practice. Of course, when fight or flight, when you're in competition, you forget the little details. And so he decides to go for a traditional arm bar, and he falls to his left hip, does everything right, does not hook his opponent's leg, so his opponent comes up. So right there, he needs to hook his opponent's leg. As he hooks his opponent's leg, right there, heavy legs on the pressure with the arm bar, and he could finish his opponent. Another opportunity to finish the match. Because he didn't hook the leg, his opponent comes up, stacks him. His legs are crossed. His legs should not be crossed here. So there you see him open him. And he opens up the guard. He kind of gives up the armbar, which is fine. Tries to go for that pendulum sweep again. His opponent falls for an ankle lock. Lets go. Troy's, in good hands. He feels pretty confident. He took his opponent's back. He was able to really control. Goes for berimbolo again, but notice he stops again. So when you shoot that leg in between the legs and the outside, you gotta keep moving. You can't stop. If you look at all the professionals, they really focus on always moving and never stopping. Goes back to close guard. Nice hip bump sweep. Beautiful. Really nice execution. He goes right, and then he goes left, traps the elbow, hip bumps, straight to mount, gets a 2 points for the sweep, 4 points for mount control. Instead of taking his time here, he rushes the armbar. I always tell students, take your time, settle, control your opponent before you armbar. There's no need to rush things. Why? Because if this is an MMA or a real fight, you have more time to catch your breath, you have more time to get help, you have more time to throw punches. This is a very good position. Why give it up so fast? So he goes for the armbar and he rushes it. Right here, he could take his time, go for an Americana, go for a collar choke, still go for an armbar, stay on top instead of falling back. And then same thing, he doesn't hook the outside leg. And so his opponent's able to come up. And his legs are very light, they're not heavy. So again, his opponent's able to come up inside his close guard. So Troy did a great job. He won this match. He got silver in the gi, silver in the no-gi, I believe. So we were just looking at ways he can, execute better technique, ways he can improve. Like I say, fill in those gaps that he has. But he's an excellent student. He's pretty consistent. He works full time. He tries to come in every day. He's always asking the good questions. Good hip bump attempt there again. And the match is over. He's always asking good questions, always scheduling private lessons, really trying to focus on how he can improve, and he's really, really tough. He's one of my top white belts, has been with me a little over a year, and so it's really exciting to see him evolve and grow as a jiu-jitsu practitioner and competitor. He's not interested in MMA, he just wants to compete in a gi and no-gi, and he's very tough. He's not very big, so I think he weighs about 130 pounds, 140 pounds. So he's able to compete at that weight class and do exceptionally well for the experience he has. But he is pretty technical, pretty explosive, and he's been learning how to really close the gaps on those transitions. And so some things that we saw here that he did well, obviously control his opponent from the closed guard, focus on sweeping, controlling on top, good armbar attempts. We just have to make those adjustments on, securing the outside leg, heavy legs, heavy position, and also really focusing on better control and more movement. And so when he does his De La Hiva, he doesn't stop moving. He's able to continue to control his opponent left to right, right to left. Whenever you have your jiu-jitsu, whether it's gi, no gi, you want to have a constant movement flow going in different directions while controlling your opponent. And so this is something we've been working on through the private lessons, through the training at the school. And so hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. If you have any questions about the technique and the breakdown, please ask questions on the comment section and we'll do our best to answer those questions. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. We're going to be doing more of these as we put out more jiu-jitsu matches of my students and myself. And so again, we'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Thanks for watching.